to open the promise of space to all.
Yes, guys, we're doing it!
And lay the way for generations to come. When our descendants look to the stars, they'll remember this time. When they reflect on where it started, they'll remember this place. And when they honor those first explorers who said, "Let's go," they'll remember these bold steps. We are of blue origin. And this,
Let's do this, New Glenn.
is just the beginning.
All right, good morning and welcome back to our live broadcast on today's New Shepard Mission 29. I'm Joel Eby once again, and I'm joined by Alice Watts, an engineer on the New Shepard program.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here again. And yeah, let's go for it. We're going to launch this thing today. I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah. All right. We're happy to be back for a second launch attempt at this flight. Now, during our first attempt at this launch last week, we had to scrub that launch due to an avionics issue.
Yes, and that issue prevented the booster from verifying a command. But we've since replaced the components involved in sending and verifying that command, and the new components have checked out successfully.
All right. Great news there. Well, today marks the 29th mission overall for our New Shepard flight program. And for those joining today who didn't get to tune in for the first attempt, it's a really special one. Today, it's all about the moon.
Yes, we're going to be spinning up the capsule today to simulate lunar gravity for all of our payload customers on board.
Completely unique. We haven't done this before. We've got a lot of folks at Blue who've been looking forward to this specific flight for a very long time. Tell us more about what's up today.
Yeah, so there's no crew on board today's flight, but we are flying a payload mission. And one neat thing about our system is that we can interchange all of our modules, our capsules, our engines, as well as our boosters. We can kind of mix and match them. So you might remember a couple missions back, we launched an all-new capsule and booster combo that was back on NS-29. Today, we're flying the reusable booster from that mission, but the capsule we use for payloads is in action today. And that's been in flight since 2017 and has seen a lot of space action so far.
Yeah, we've seen that thing fly a lot. It's had 10 flights so far, that capsule. And overall, this is the 14th payload flight for New Shepard. After today, we're going to have 175 payloads that we've flown to space. Now, we know that we have 3 capsules now, and 2 boosters are in service to better address all the demand that we're seeing from payloads and from astronauts.
Yeah, and speaking of astronauts, we're already seeing that demand happen and increase. We've flown 47 people above the Kármán line so far, and that accounts for nearly 7% of all astronauts to date. It's a thrilling time, so much good stuff happening across the space industry. And with seeing New Glenn make its first flight just a few weeks ago, we here at Blue feel like it's an all-new era.
That's amazing. Just coming up here, we're going to have a Go poll in just a couple minutes. Let's be listening in for that. But in the meantime, we've covered this the other day, but let's talk again about what's on board today.
Yeah, this flight is carrying 30 payloads, 29 in the crew capsule and 1 on the booster. Now, over half of these payloads are funded by NASA's Flight Opportunities Program. They're testing innovations critical to achieving the Artemis program goals and exploring the lunar surface. The other payloads come from universities and commercial providers. These are also testing innovations that advance various lunar efforts.
Yeah, and speaking of testing, Honeybee Robotics, which is a Blue Origin company, is responsible for 4 of these payloads. There's a photo of the payloads that Honeybee's flying on board today.
Yeah, these technologies, they're all about lunar regolith, or the soil of the moon. They're researching how we'll excavate and process that soil. Honeybee is doing a lot of great work for us right now. They're paving the way, you can say, for the future lunar exploration and habitation.
Awesome. Yeah, Blue is all about the moon. Sometimes we characterize really all of our work, especially in this generation, the work that we're doing today. It's all being very moon-centric, and thanks to the Honeybee team for all their incredible work, helping to point our way back to the moon. So let's get into a little bit of the science here as we wait for the Go poll. It sounds like from Mission Control that might be happening within the next minute or so. So let's be ready for that. How do we exactly concoct this lunar gravity that we're talking about?
Yeah, great question, Joel. So let's take a step back and imagine you're standing there with a bucket of water in your hand, and you start to spin that bucket of water around in a circle. Now that water, as you can imagine, will stay pressed against the bottom of the bucket because of the outward force created by you spinning. That force is called the centrifugal force. When the crew capsule spins, now let's imagine the crew capsule's that bucket, and we spin that capsule up, everything inside will push outwards towards the walls of the spacecraft.
And that, of course, brings up lunar gravity.
Yeah, exactly. So lunar gravity is 1/6 that of Earth's gravity. It's a lot less. Now, the capsule's spin speed has to be exact to get this just right. The faster it spins, the stronger the force. So the amount of spin is matched to the weaker pull of the gravity on the moon. Now, this isn't real gravity, but it feels like gravity because of the force of the spin. Today, we're going to be spinning at 11 rotations per minute. We normally do spin the capsule a little, but compared to our normal spin rate, about a half a rotation, this is going to be much more, 22 times more intense to be specific.
Awesome. So that's way faster, and we're able to do this testing right at the Kármán line. And that's just 100 kilometers from Earth. That's where New Shepard flies, and that's just way more reachable for us and suited to these scaled-down experiments compared with, say, going all the way to the moon, which would take several days of spaceflight.
I know, right? It's so important here that the range of experiments that we're able to run, it's incredible. Imagine what it takes to go back to the moon now to stay, right? Now, what kinds of technologies?
I'm going to cut in right there.
Yeah,
I hear that the go poll is happening now, so let's listen in.
Here's push to talk. PM recovery. Booster commence terminal count.
We'll go. Engineering verified trajectory index 1. Copy, boosters, I see all ones. Enabling onboard power.
All right, I think it was a little hard to hear there, but it sounds like we are go for terminal count, which is exciting. So the team is preparing to head into terminal count. That's the auto sequence is coming up here shortly. So, yeah, I mean, Alice, continue talking about this, the lunar experiments that we're doing on board and how we're. I mean, you were saying about like the way that we're doing these experiments is great because it's so scaled down and a lot more achievable on New Shepard than it is for us to just go to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching the clock here, T-minus 6 minutes, but let's dive into those technologies that it's going to take to get back to the moon. Specifically, we're talking about things like in situ resource utilization, or ISRU, dust mitigation, advanced habitation systems, sensors and instrumentation, small spacecraft technologies, as well as entry, descent, and landing technologies. Now, that's quite a full range of lunar testing that we're able to do today.
Yeah, it's amazing. The simulating the moon's gravity up till now was only possible for a few seconds with centrifuges or parabolic flights. So between that and actually going to the moon sits New Shepard. It's kind of filling that sweet spot in the middle, and showing that these technologies can be tested at a lower cost with immediate results and over minutes of data collected, not just a few seconds.
Yeah, with this new capability, NASA can now expose their payloads to lunar gravity for a longer duration, like you said, Joel, about 2 minutes today, and they can test much larger payload sizes. On top of all of that, allows research to get their test results today, the same day, in just a few hours right after the capsule lands. So yeah, New Shepard is not just a launch vehicle. It's essential for making testing of technology possible for these teams.
Awesome. So with that, Alice, let's talk a little bit about the flight profile of New Shepard. It has a flight path that spans about 12 minutes total. And why don't you take us through, like, how does that go as we approach this terminal count moment here? Why don't you take us through the flight profile?
Yeah, here's the flight profile. The show starts at T0 in just about 4 minutes with the BE-3 engine propelling New Shepard off the launch pad in West Texas. We head to space, passing max Q, and about 2.5 minutes we experience MECO, or main engine cutoff. At that point, the capsule separates from the booster, and it will continue its parabolic flight past the Kármán line and experiencing lunar G during that spin. While payloads in the capsule conduct their experiments, the booster descends faster due to its shape, it deploys air brakes, and the BE-3 engine relights for an autonomous landing on the pad. Meanwhile, the capsule starts re-entry at about 3.5 minutes after separation. Parachutes will deploy for a smooth landing, and once on the ground, the capsule is greeted by ground crew and the eagerly awaiting payload customers while the booster is getting ready for its next flight.
Every New Shepard flight has essentially the same profile, but every now and then, as you said, we do a little variation, and today, there's that fact we're giving the crew capsule that extra special lunar twist.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the results.
All right, with that, we are at T-minus 3 minutes and 15 seconds. We're very close to liftoff, so let's throw it to the rocket there as we await those final bit checks that we'll see all those actuating surfaces being finally tested as we approach the moment of liftoff. All right, welcome back. This is the NS-29 mission for New Shepard, the 29th for the program and the 14th payload flight for New Shepard. Very exciting. We are in auto sequence right now as the vehicle is basically taking over command of itself. It's becoming autonomous now.
Yeah, and you can see right there from this view that bridge retracting from the capsule. Always a great sign that we're really close to launch. Let's stand by and watch these beautiful views from West Texas. And there are the aft fin checks. You can see those moving back and forth. We do that right before liftoff to make sure we can steer the vehicle on ascent and descent. We're coming up here to T-minus 1 minute and 5 seconds. The vehicle's coming alive. You can hear that.
I know.
It's incredible.
The sounds of the launch pad.
With a keen eye, you might be able to see that engine nozzle gimbaling down there at the bottom.
Yep, I see it.
Hard to tell from this far, but beautiful views. All right, we're also keeping an eye on the pressures and temperatures in those propellant tanks. Both need to stay in that green zone, that go zone. All right, we're at T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
All right, Alice, well, here we go. It's time to hand it off to Mission Control now and launch this rocket.
T-minus 16, guidance internal.
MT, we're going to go on this morning. We're
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Commanded to start. 2, 1. And liftoff.
New Shepard has cleared the tower. Heading to space. that are appearing on the lower side of your screen there. They are tracking both vehicles together, specifically the crew capsule. Once we hit that moment of separation, it'll continue to track the crew capsule's speed. Now, the atmosphere, of course, is getting thinner and thinner as we approach space.
10,000 feet.
BE-3 at the moment is approaching 100% power level. And next up, you're going to see max Q. This is the moment where the aerodynamic stress at the vehicle is on its maximum. As we do that, the BE-3 engine is going to throttle back just a little bit as we pierce through the atmosphere. And we've passed max Q. So at this point, BE-3 is back to 100% of its power. It's accelerating faster and faster as it reaches up through the thinner, higher upper atmosphere. And the payloads are experiencing about 3 Gs on the flight at this moment in time. About a minute, 45 seconds of boost so far. Now, the velocity meter, as you can see, is not correct. We're going much faster than 25 miles per hour, so ignore that. Trust your eyes as you watch that vehicle fly. These onboard views are very helpful to see, as you can see the Earth descending away from the camera there. All right, we've hit MECO. Main engine cutoff. Shortly here, we'll see separation. All right, the 0G indicator there means that we have reached separation of the two vehicles, and now the crew capsule and the booster are now coasting to their apogees simultaneously, and you can see that clean separation now between those two vehicles. Very, very pretty. That's a good, clean view.
The capsule at this point will begin its spin up for the payloads inside to experience not 0G today, but lunar G.
It's a little hard to see from this camera view, but we can't wait to see those results. Now, the booster has begun its descent. You can see that booster is making, there's a lot of separation there between the crew capsule, the top picture, and the booster down below. The data that you're seeing now needs to be refreshed on the screen, so apologies for that, but the booster is going to land about 2 miles north of the launch pad down in West Texas, right back at the launch site.
And I'm hearing that the crew capsule is at full lunar G roll, so it has reached full lunar G, those payloads experiencing that, conducting their experiments, doing all the science that they've waited months and years for in some cases.
That's right. Yes, we've been looking forward to this flight for a very long time. Now, you notice the last time we tried to do this launch, there was a cloud cover. Today, there's no clouds, so our long-range cameras are able to clearly see the view all the way up to space and track both vehicles together. And you can see that booster is descending. Now, it's at this point in time, it's re-encountering the atmosphere, and it'll begin using its steering fins to be able to guide it autonomously all the way back to the launch pad, or not the launch pad, but the landing pad, which is very, very much nearby, about 2 miles north of the launch pad.
At this point, the capsule has also reached its apogee, and it is still spinning, but it will begin to slow down as it and stop spinning as we re-enter the atmosphere here shortly.
It's a very clean, long shot from our long-range camera on the ground in West Texas. Now we're tracking the vehicles now. This camera here is looking at the booster as it's descending. You can see the those wedge fins have deployed off of the top of the ring fin. And so it's able to steer its way back, and shortly here we should see booster relight. All right, here's a nice side-by-side to see the crew capsule on the left side and the booster on the right side of your screen as they're both descending. The booster is winning that race to the ground. It's nearing the ground right now. Those air brakes have deployed, which is really cutting the booster's velocity down. Again, ignore the stats that you see on the screen. Those are not accurate today. All right, there's engine relight. And touchdown. All right. Love to see that clean booster touchdown. And then here's the crew capsule.
Yep, we got eyes on the capsule. As you've noticed, it stopped its spinning maneuver. The payload's inside. We are re-entering the atmosphere. We've experienced up to 5 Gs on descent. We're awaiting parachute deployment. Let's take a look.
There's the drogue deployment.
And there you see the main parachutes being pulled out by those drogues.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. We love to see it. Now, if you've got a keen eye, you might note the parachutes have a slightly new design.
And you can see one of those is lagging on its inflation, but that's all right. We've designed the system to have backups to the backups. This system can safely land with fewer than 3 parachutes. So we're going to continue following this as it approaches the West Texas desert, and it looks to me like the stats that you're seeing on the screen are accurate there for the capsule descent. That's the correct expected descent speed for the capsule after the parachutes have deployed, right about 16 miles an hour. You can see this is a shot from one of our drones. You're seeing the little bit of a helicopter, the blade of the drone there.
Yeah, now as we descend under parachutes, now they are essential for providing a gentle touchdown of our capsule, but like Joel said, we've got many backup systems. One of the nominal systems we use for touchdown is our retro thrust system. That might kick up a little bit of dust here. Let's take a look.
And that third chute looks like it has now inflated, which is great. And touchdown. All right.
Beautiful touchdown of the capsule today. on our 29th mission here. Incredible to see. Now our capsule recovery team is currently driving out in a convoy. They're going to meet the capsule. They're going to safe the vehicle and open the hatch and extract some of the payloads today.
Well, that was a great day watching this new vehicle fly to space and back. Not new vehicle, but this new combination of our payloads capsule along with our newest booster. And let's not forget, we want to see, millions of people living and working in space in the future. And so New Shepard is also, even though we were watching a great payload flight happen today in front of our eyes, New Shepard's also designed to take astronauts to space. And so if you would like to purchase a seat on a future ride to space, just visit blueorigin.com and click the Fly to Space button. Your own journey to visit the Kármán line may be closer than you think.
Yeah, and if you'd like to join our team and help us build a road to space, we've got hundreds of positions open across all of our manufacturing facilities from coast to coast, Florida, Alabama, West Texas, and Washington. Just visit us at blueorigin.com/careers.
And there's more. If you liked what you saw today, we have some great gear available, including a very cool mission patch. There it is in the middle there. This one's a cool one. It features a crescent moon at the top, which it represents the lunar gravity that we're simulating on today's flight, and that 2 minutes of lunar G spin. It's got a few hexagons in the background there. Of course, those represent our partners at the Honeybee team. And the crew capsule there is using its RCS system to spin up that lunar gravity.
Yeah, and maybe my favorite feature of this patch, and really any patch that I've never seen a patch like this, the street art style, is our way to show off the modular vehicle liveries that we flew today between the booster and the capsule.
Very creative. Well, hey, my name is Joel Eby, and for me and for Alice Watts here, and for the whole team at Blue Origin, thank you all for joining us today. Until our next launch, Gradatum Ferociter.
Have you ever dreamed of going to space and gazing back on Earth through some of the largest windows that have ever flown in space? We certainly have.
T-minus 10, 9.
A once-in-a-lifetime journey is closer than you think. It's your time to join the new generation of astronauts. To book your flight, visit blueorigin.com and click Fly to Space. Tell us as much as you can about yourself. We welcome you to the final frontier.
Decathlon sale. Get up to 60% off on your favorite sports products on stock lasts. Visit your nearest store or install the app.
SpaceX continues to push hard, getting their second launch pad here in Starbase built. And after assembling the chopsticks this week, they were installed on the tower. Along with that,